Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be more on what I do to keep myself motivated / what you guys can do also to keep yourselves motivated when you're trying to go through those goals or trying to hit those projects that you're trying to finish and you can't find yourself to get motivated enough to be able to get to those projects or even finish them. Okay, so for those of you who are coming back, welcome back. And for those of you who are new, welcome. Don't forget to hit that like button if you guys find this video helpful. Share it if you feel that someone else needs a little bit of motivation, okay? And don't forget to subscribe, join the fam. Okay, so one of the first things that I do to keep myself motivated, actually what I do is the day before, what I do is I grab a notebook and I grab a pen or a pencil, doesn't matter, preferably a pencil or an erasable pen because you are going to want to probably erase a couple of things. What I do is I go in and I write down kind of a schedule. I try not to really do it as a schedule. What I do more is I just make a list of what I need to get done. So I stop and I think about everything that I need to get done first. And when I do that, I do make sure that I add in part of the projects and or goals that I'm trying to hit. I do not overdo myself though. Don't overdo yourself if you plan on writing a list of what you're going to do the next day. Don't push yourself too hard to get too much done because this is one of the things that basically makes a lot of people who are trying to start a project, are trying to hit a goal in something, it makes them want to quit. Why? Because you have all these things written down and you have all these things that in your mind just going and going and going, and before you know it, you get mentally exhausted, you get mentally tired, and that is one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people quit before they even get started. Okay, and one of the next ones is focus on what is on your to-do list. Do not go about going and doing other things. Let's say if you made yourself a to-do list that is for, let's say making, depending on what your project is or what goal you want to hit. For example, you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to start a project, like you're trying to start a store, you're trying to start something that you're going to be selling online. What you want to do is you want to do little bits at a time. You don't want to overdo yourself because that is also one of the reasons why people quit. Also, make sure that when you do your to-do list, do it only at like 15 or 20 minute timings, depending on because a lot of the times people get so distracted. Like a lot of people nowadays just are very, very distracted. Like for example, you want to check your phone. You want to go check on, let's say if you have kids, you want to go check on your kids. You want to go check on your social media. You want to check on just different things, okay? So what you want to do is like 15 to 20 minutes at a time. You go and you do one little part of a project. Let's say you cut out all the fabric, or let's say you want to do like a workout. You're going to do like 15 or 20 minutes of like the treadmill or doing push-ups or doing, you just want to make sure that you don't over push yourself, because then the rest of that whole to-do list is not going to get done because you're already exhausted. But then also make sure you focus on that, because if you're too busy focusing on other stuff, you're going to mentally exhaust yourself. And if you're mentally exhausted, is one of the main things where your brain you start getting brain fog, you start getting forgetful, you start forgetting. You are trying to get so many things done all at once that what happens is you end up getting nothing done. And then it's just going to happen day after day after day. And before you know it, it's going to be a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, 2 weeks, a month. Sometimes you just give up and then until the next year when, Christmas comes around, and then you're going to write your New Year's resolutions, and then you're going to do that again. It's just going to be a cycle. So better if you just little by little do 15, 20 minute lists. So then that way you don't overdo yourself. Okay. Okay. And another thing that I do also to keep myself motivated and keep me going is that I take about a minute or two. If you are going to take this tip, please do not do it over a minute. Let's say put your timer on, take about a minute. Go back in your thoughts and think about everything that you went through from where you came from. Let's say the bad times, like the times that you were more in pain. Let's say if you lost everything. When you lost everything, how did you feel? How did that make you feel? What did you go through? These are the things that I stop and think, like when I was a child, we didn't have anything. We had absolutely nothing. We were on the streets. We didn't have no food. My parents did not know where we were going to sleep at night. They just kept going, going, going. It was something that was very, very difficult. And I know that I didn't, at the moment, I didn't really understand too much, but I could see their stress. I could see their struggle. I could see their pain because they had 5 of us. They had 5 of us walking around in the streets and not knowing what we're going to do next. Where are we going to... Basically, they didn't know. They just had to take it a day at a time. That does make me stop and think. With my family, that's something that I never, ever, ever want to go through. Although we already did, that I would save it for another video. It's very difficult. So what you want to do is you want to take like a minute. Don't let it take too long. Wow, this is like difficult for me to speak about. So what you want to do is you want to take about a minute, time it, and make sure that you go back and you think about like the worst time in your life. This is one of the biggest motivators that I have, that I use for myself to motivate me to keep going. Why? Because one of the main things that I don't want to do is ever end up in that place again, without anything, with nothing, struggling, the pain of like not knowing. And it's not pain like physical pain, it's more like heartache and it's mental pain that you go through. So just basically like you don't want to ever go through that again. So you have to dig deep inside. I'm sorry, I'm getting all tongue twisted. So you want to dig deep inside and you want to pull up a painful memory that you have in your mind and use that to motivate you. Because a lot of the times when things are going well, we stop and we get content. We stop and we get too comfortable. We stop and we just like, we're like, oh, we're doing okay, you know, and then you forget about like what you went through, what the things you had to go through, the things that you experienced, the things that you felt, the things that you thought, the things that you just everything. So then a lot of people, it's just, this is also why they don't start their projects. I know anybody and everybody has goals. Everybody has a dream. Everybody has a dream. But the majority of the people don't ever go for it because when they get too comfortable, they stop and they forget about their dream. They forget about their goal. They're just like, you know what? I'm doing okay. Then they push that goal. They push that dream to the side. Okay. And then that gets pushed back years. Sometimes people even never ever start, and then they end their life regretting that they never ever started that one project, that one thing that, sorry, there's like a little, okay, so their lives just end never knowing what it would have been if they would have started that project. Okay, so basically by doing that, that will help motivate you to be able to move forward. Doing this will help you remember, and it'll motivate you that you don't ever want to go to that back to that place. You don't ever want to go back to that spot. You don't ever want to have to go through that again. So that's one of the things that I do, you know, and everything to be able to motivate myself to keep going. And I do not over push myself, because I used to over push myself to where I wanted to get everything done in one day, and I would get so upset. I would get very, very upset when I could not get it all done. I would be more exhausted thinking about everything. I would be mentally exhausted before the day was even over. Sometimes I spent all night just thinking about, okay, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get that done. I'm going to get, you know, I'm going to like get all this stuff done. And at the end of the day, guess what? I got nothing done. I didn't even get like 15 minutes of what I actually wanted to get done. I didn't even get that done. And that made me even more upset, and it made me more overwhelmed. And it just got so much to the point where I felt like giving up. Honestly, I did give up. I gave up several times. Okay. So this is one of the things that I want you guys to understand, that when you're doing your to-do list, don't over push yourself. Do it little by little, because nothing great comes from doing it just one thing, you know, and another thing and everything without thinking about it. When you just going quick, that's when the most mistakes are being done. And then at the end of the day, when it all blows up in your face, then you're going to be all like, oh, well, I did all the work. Why isn't it working? Why? Because you didn't take the time or the patience. You didn't stop and think everything through before you did it. And then that's when more mistakes are done. And then when a lot of people, this is when they quit. This is when they quit. Why? Because they spread themselves so thin that they couldn't get it done, or basically they already did all the work that they don't want to go back and redo it again. They just take it as a failure. You know what? I failed, whatever. I'm going back to work. I don't want to start anything. I don't want to get anything done. I'm not going to move forward. Why? Because I already failed. Forget it. It didn't work. When actually all they needed to do was actually take the time to go in slowly, step by step, slowly, basically day by day and everything, do a little bit at a time. And then that way, when the end result comes out, it's going to actually come out something amazing. It's going to come out perfect. Why? Because you actually took the time to see all the details, think it all through, write it all down. You have to write everything down too, because a lot of the times when people, even though you have the best memory, a person can have like the best memory in the world, but if you don't write it down, sooner or later that thought is going to get lost in the other thoughts, and before you know it, you're not even going to remember about that thought anymore, even though you came up with it and everything and you already had it all set up in your mind. You're going to forget. You're going to forget because you're going to be thinking about all the other steps, and then when you try to go back and everything, and then it's just going to get all screwed up. So it's best to drop my pen. Okay, so it's just best, if you write everything down, then that way also it's another step that can help you get everything down correctly. Okay, and the next one is also when you start feeling exhausted, when you start feeling tired. Let's say you want to take about an hour of your day to be able to go into your project, go into your goal, go in and try to get more done in one day than you would, other days. Let's say, because I've been saying like 15 minutes, right? The reason I say that is because we get distracted very easily. But if you're able to go in for about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, when you start feeling that mental exhaustion, like if you have a deadline and you need to get it done and you have a certain time that you want that done, you could add more time to it. Okay, so you just add more time to it. What I do when I start feeling mentally exhausted, when I start feeling physically exhausted, when I start getting tired and my brain is just like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. And I'm just, what I do is that I get up right away. When I start feeling that tiredness, before I even give my mind enough time to sit there and be all like, you know what? I could do this tomorrow. You know what? I'm just going to take a break. It's okay. I'm just going to go sit down. I'm just going to go like watch one show, or I'm going to go and, do something else. Before I give myself the time to be able to think all that, I stand up right away. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to give my mind enough time to think about me going to take a break, about me giving up at the moment. And you know what? It could just get done tomorrow. I'll just do it the next day, because then the next day will come the next day, and then it'll become another day. And before you know it, it's a week, a month. And then before you know it, you're just like, whatever. It might have not worked anyways. Okay. So what I do is that I stand up right away. When I start feeling it, I'm just like, nope. I stand up, and what I do is I do like 15, 20 jumping jacks. And when I do the 15, 20 jumping jacks, it gets my heart pumping like right away. And then I'm just like, okay, you get more pumped and you just feel a little bit more motivated to keep going. Okay, the second thing that I do is also not just only jumping jacks. If I don't do jumping jacks, I'll run in place. If I don't run in place, I'll sit there and I'll run from like one side of the room to the other side of the room, to the other side of the room, to the other side of the room, like 4 or 5 times. Okay, because this gets your heart pumping. Now, one of the things that I don't do is push-ups. Why? Because if I get down on that floor when I'm mentally exhausted, when I'm physically exhausted, if I get down on that floor to do push-ups, I am not going to get back up. Why? Because I'm out of shape. Okay, so there's the answer to that. If you're in shape, more power to you. Get down, do them push-ups, push them out, 10, 15 push-ups, get up, jump up, and get back to work. Okay, so yeah, the reason I won't do them is because I won't be getting back up off that floor. And I know this. So I won't get down there. Okay, so yeah, basically that was mostly what I do basically to keep myself motivated day after day before I do the list. basically the day before I do the list, and then the next day I know exactly what I need to get done. So then after I'm done with the whole list of everything I need to get done, then I go do other stuff. Like, let's say, cleaning the kitchen or clean the living room, you know, basically your house duties, or, anything else you need to do and everything, or get done during the day and everything. Do not get to those. Even though it's getting to you, do not get to those until you are done with your list. Okay? Why? Because this list is priority. You need to prioritize this list. You need to prioritize what you want to get done, because this is going to be your future. This is going to be something that you're working towards, something that it's going to make you proud. The day that you finish this, you are going to be proud. You're going to be like, wow, I did this. Wow, I finished it. Wow, I accomplished something. And it's just going to be bigger, and the reward is going to be a lot more than getting the dishes done today, doing the laundry today, vacuuming, doing the living. Just, you know, that you're going to have to do that again and again and again anyways. Why? Because when you live somewhere, it's bound to get dusty. It's bound to get messy. People are using stuff. It's just, you know what? That's going to be there. It's going to be there all the time. So it's best if you get to your list first. Then when you're done with that list, do not abandon that list. When you're done with that list, then you could go do your other stuff, okay? You can still get it done. I'm not saying abandon it. I'm not saying don't do it. But one of the main things that I am saying is get your list done first. That is priority, okay? So once you are done with that, that's basically, yeah, just do your list. Keep going. Stay motivated. Don't get demotivated. Before you even give yourself time to sit down and relax and eat and get sluggish, get lazy because you already ate, you just want to watch a show, you want to be on your phone, social media, get up. Don't give yourself enough time to get lazy, okay? So I hope this video was helpful. If you know someone who needs a little bit of motivation, or maybe something, you know, that'll help them, feel free to forward this video to them. Okay, hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, join the fam. Okay, and I will talk to you guys later.